Welcome, everyone. I see a lot of familiar faces. Some of you I've really enjoyed spending time with you at other 3HO online events. So welcome. Welcome on this great Saturday morning. I'm really grateful to be here with Madhur-Nain today and introducing her as really one of our wisdom keepers and amazingly skilled therapist, Kundalini yoga teacher, and a bright, dear. I would call her a dear daughter because she is like that to me. But welcome all of you to our very first 3HO Mental Health Summit. Great. And those of you, if you can turn on your camera, please do. It'd be lovely to see you. And I know you're joining from all around the world, so welcome, whatever time it is for you. But I will want to really take just a quick moment to welcome you all to this first 3HO Mental Health Summit. I know 2020 and the first few months of 2021 have brought a lot of opportunities, a lot of change, but also some deep challenges. So I am very grateful personally for this day. I'm looking forward to bathing in the technology to lift my spirit and also give me that sense of mental, physical, spirit well-being. So I welcome you all. And again, thank you with deep gratitude to Madhur-Nain for guiding us and leading us through this time together. Satnam, everyone.
Thank you so much, Pritpal. Nice to see you on Zoom. Hello, everyone. Oh, it's so great to see all your faces. Thank you for turning your videos on. Can everyone hear me okay? Awesome. Great. So let's see, it's 7:02 on my time. I'm coming to you from Northern California, Bay Area. And I actually love to teach first thing in the morning. I feel like I have a nice, clean energy slate and everything can kind of trickle in. I think maybe it's one of the reasons why we like to do our sadhanas in the morning. So before we get started, I'm just going to look through everyone here. Wonderful to see you. I'd love to, at the end, we're going to have Q&A, and I'd love for you to put in the chat later. I know it's turned off right now, but if you could put in where you're coming in from. If there's any Germans out there, Guten Morgen. I grew up in Hamburg, Germany, and born in Amsterdam, so I have a special place in my heart for Hamburg. So good morning and good afternoon and good evening. So we're going to get started, and we're going to start with the tune in because I like to tune in for a couple reasons. One, when we meet somebody, what do we say? We always have a greeting. Hello, hello, how are you? And Om Namo Gurudev Namo is a greeting. It's a way to open up the space. It's a way for us to tune in to a connection, to a vibration, and it's a greeting. It's a greeting to the universal consciousness that as a teacher, it's really important to tune into when we're teaching so that we can be in our highest consciousness. And, you know, it is part of every culture. There is some kind of greeting when we meet. There is some kind of exchange of energy before we move into experience. And that's basically what Adi Mantra is. So I was thinking about that when I was teaching on Zoom in Taiwan of how to think about the Adi Mantra. And I really like it. It's a greeting to our experience. So please come sitting comfortably. Wherever you are is perfectly fine. The way my class is going to be structured is we'll tune in. I will have some lecturing. So if you would like to have a notebook with you, I'm going to ask you to do a little processing, of course, only if you want. But there will be a prompt for some journaling after I lecture. We're going to have an experience. And then there'll be a closing with some journaling as well. So the way I love to teach is I really want you to be able to walk away from this class with some new tools in your toolbox, not just let's just go into the ethers and feel all blissed out. That's great, right? But Kundalini yoga and meditation is a tool for life. It's something we bring into our relationships. It's something we bring into our careers. It's something we bring into our conflicts. It's something that we bring into our happiness. It is not just about being one with everything. That's a bonus and it's lovely, but that's not why I practice Kundalini yoga and meditation. It helps me to stay sane because life is a challenge, and we're going to be talking about that. So I do talk a little fast. I just am noticing my energy. So the good thing about tuning in, it does slow me down a little bit. And maybe if you can just give me a couple thumbs up if your language is not English, is not your first language, so that I can, okay, so I can just gear my, a lot of people, English is not your first language. Thank you. I will slow down. Teaching in Asia has helped me be better at slowing down in my teaching with a translator. Okay. So as I said, please come comfortably, sitting tall and straight. Eyes are closed. You can start with resting your hands in your lap, breathing in and out through the nose. With each flow of the breath, allow yourself to be here for this experience. With each flow of the breath, allow yourself to be more aware of being in your body. It's as simple as feeling the experience of your inhale and your exhale. Notice what parts of the body open or move out, and what happens to the body as you exhale. Does it move in? Does it relax? Do the muscles relax? The first step is just to notice. And now bring your mental focus to the rhythm of your navel as you're breathing. As you inhale, your navel should go out. Your belly should become like a balloon. So you can really use the diaphragm to open up the lungs. Lungs hold grief. We want to open them. And as you exhale, the exhale starts from the top of the body, moving down. At the end of your exhale, you want to pull your belly button into the back of the spine like a nice squeezed hug to really empty the CO2 out of the lungs. Again, massaging the lungs, and continue that inhale and the exhale. Please bring the palms of your hands together and come into prayer pose. We will tune in as we greet each other in the universal energy force, as I tune into my highest consciousness as I instruct this class. The Adi mantra for our beginners here is Om Namo Gurudev Namo, which means I bow to the Creator, the divine teacher within. If you know the words in the mantra, please join in. If you don't, you're more than welcome to listen and allow your breath to follow in. We will chant it 3 times, each time with 1 breath. Relaxed breath, inhale. Exhale. Inhale to tune in. Om Namo Gurudev. Namo. Om Namo Gurudev. Namo. Om Namo Gurudev. Namo. Inhale deep. Hold your breath. Set your intention. Exhale. Relax your breath. Before you open your eyes, please sit quietly for a moment with your eyes closed. And before we move into our lecture, I'd like you to be aware, keep your eyes closed, be aware of the 3 possible lenses in our mind. They're going to be an overview lens. So we have the functioning adult, which is who we are right now. It's the part of us that tuned in. That's what we call the functional adult, the wise adult. Then we have our adaptive child, which is our reactive part. Third, we have our wounded child, which is our inner child that was wounded in our youth. So I'd like you just to keep those 3 lenses in your awareness as I'm lecturing and the yoga. And I invite you to stay in your wise adult for this whole experience. When you're ready, please open your eyes. So I am a licensed psychotherapist. What that means is I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. So I work with a lot of individuals in relationship issues. That's one of my specialties. And then, oh, the sun is coming out to greet me right when I'm lecturing. Good morning, sun. So I work with a lot of individuals with anxiety and with stress, anger issues, emotional, feeling stuck in their life. And that's the areas of my expertise. I'm just going to close my drapes. I apologize. Okay, that's better. Thank you. So yes, I've been doing therapy for about over 20 years. I have a private practice. I have 2 sons, one in college and one in high school. And I have been married for 25 years next month. So I have lots of life experience. I was born and raised in 3HO. So Kundalini yoga and meditation was part of my upbringing with my parents in Europe. I primarily grew up in Europe. So that's a little bit of my background. I really love Kundalini yoga because when I first started being a therapist, I kept everything separate. Psychotherapy here, my yoga classes here, I did not overlap them. And then I would get clients who would sometimes go to my yoga classes and they would be like, can you talk a little bit about what you talk about in your yoga class? And it was my clients that asked me to bring in the technology. So that's what I did. So we're going to experience some of my learning and my weaving in of the 2 today. So our goals are the awareness to see more clearly, the strength to heal and let go, to learn what that actually means. A lot of us don't understand necessarily what it means to heal. The courage to change patterns within ourselves, our mind, and within our life. So that will be our goals for today. So I would like to start with stress. So stress is a normal part of everyday life. And, if we look back 50 years, the word stress was not part of our everyday communication, our everyday language. Now, I'm not sure about Germany or Spain or Brazil or Taiwan, but in the United States, when you see a friend, you ask, how are you? And they go, oh, I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. It's become a part of our everyday language. And we almost accept it as something as normal. So the thing is that there is some stress that is normal. Watching my son learn how to ride his bicycle without the training wheels and seeing his determination, and he'd fall and get back up, and he was upset and he was feeling stressed. That's normal. He was learning something. But the look on his face when he rode his bike for the first time, oh, it was like the sunrise. And all of a sudden the stress is gone. When I was a little girl, learning how to read and write was very difficult for me. I thought in German, but I spoke English. People did not know what to do with me. And I struggled with that. And that was a stressor. When I learned how to read and write, that stress went away. So there is certain stressors that can happen that are normal. Like before you give a lecture, we feel a little stressed. When the experience happened, those feelings in the body should go away. Now, here's the issue. When we have anxiety, that's when stress becomes more chronic. And that means that we're revving our glands in our body, sometimes all the time, sometimes at a low level, sometimes it's like multiple times a day. And that is when it becomes a problem for our body and our life. Because our organs and our glands do not know the difference between real and imaginary pain. Our organs and our glands do not know the difference between real and imaginary danger and fear. It does not know. Our organs and glands don't necessarily have feelings. It is our mind that wants to make sense of things. We talk about in yogic technology that the mind thinks in polarities. If you've taken a mind to meditation level 2 or part of level 1, we go into this. And our mind thinks in polarities because it must. Right, wrong, good, bad, stop, go. Should I be friends with this person? Should I not be friends with this person? Should I work at this job? Should I quit this job? The mind is deciphering constantly. But it's our emotions and how we interpret through those lenses. Remember, I talked about the 3 lenses at the beginning? Our lenses is what puts meaning to the situation. So stress and anxiety is a byproduct of those experiences. So what happens is our amygdala, which we have 2 little amygdalas inside our brain, and if you were to come inside through the ears and back through the eyes, and we were to meet in the center of our brain, well, not in the center, but in the center of these 2 areas coming in, we would hit the amygdala. And the amygdala really is part of that animal part of us. And the amygdala is fight, flight, and freeze. And it does it to real events. Like if a car suddenly pulls out in front of you and we have to have that quick reaction, and if we're driving, that's our amygdala. If we're having an argument with our spouse, or if someone in a store is yelling at us, Our amygdala is going to go into fight. Do I argue? Do I just turn around and walk away? Do I freeze like a deer caught in the headlights? That's our amygdala. It does not have meaning behind it. It's just a knee-jerk reaction. So we really want to work with the mind with all of the thoughts that we create. And our thoughts that we create come from those lenses. So another way to think about it in the yogic tradition, so the lenses I talked about, those are psychological. Those are psychology, the functioning adult, the adaptive child, and the wounded child. This is work from Terry Real, who wrote The New Rules of Marriage, and I Don't Want to Talk About It, which is about male depression. So that's the psychology version of our lenses. In yogic technology and Kundalini yoga, we talk about the three minds. So the negative mind would be the adaptive child. The positive mind would actually also be the adaptive child. And the neutral mind would be our functioning self. And then our wounded child would be somewhere in between the negative and the positive. So if we want to interlace those. But I have found that these lenses are going to impact your amygdala and your reactions to life, your stress and your anxiety, and how you make sense of it. So I'm going to start with yogic tools. So my first quote is going to be, "Life without crises is life in a coffin." That Tadankar, my mother said that. Life without crises is life in a coffin. It's her interpretation of a lecture. And I use that with clients who are like, why is life always hard for me? And why is this always happening to me? And life's not fair. And why is this? And why? You know, I get it. I've had the whys in my life. But here's the thing, what I have noticed in the years of working with people. We as human beings grow the most through difficulty. I wish it was different, but it's not. Because when we find the courage to move through something, that's when this opening can happen inside of us. If you're in a relationship and you and your partner sit down and have a really difficult conversation about something and you work through it, all of a sudden there's a lightness in your relationship. But you had to have that hard conversation to get to that. So it's in these times that we grow the most. Guess what? It is the same in a Kriya. It is the same in a meditation. Sometimes they're very difficult. They can poke us emotionally. They can poke us physically. They can irritate us. And if we can stay connected to our breath, which is one of our greatest teachers in life, if we can stay connected to the mantra if we're chanting, then guess what? We move through that crisis of the moment and we can connect to our meditative mind, or we can connect to that wise adult inside of us. This is why we practice. Those experiences in the yoga help us in the experiences in our life. They should not be separate. So in the yogic technology, it's about poking us so that we can confront ourselves. Nobody else is doing it to you. You do it to yourself. I do it to myself. As a therapist, I have to do that for clients sometimes, but I have to make sure it's a respectful and safe relationship for them. But ideally, we have that experience within ourselves. So that is part of the yogic tradition or yogic technology of facing our issues in the experience of the yoga in the experience of the meditation. In that we work hard, if it's 3 minutes or if it's 7 minutes or if it's 1 minute, I want you to notice when we do our yoga and even the classes later today with other teachers, notice that wave of feelings and those lenses that you're interpreting the situation. Because what you do in the yoga class is what you do in your life. There is no difference. If we try to separate it, you're going to have a split life. So in psychotherapy theory, which is mostly around cognitive therapy, my quote is, "Don't believe everything you think." The Dalai Lama said that. Don't believe everything you think. So here's the thing. Many people, when you ask them, how are you feeling? Guess what they say? They tell you what they're thinking. You'll ask them, how do you feel about what just happened? Well, I think the person should have done this, and I'm mad that they didn't do this, and I'm feeling real, and why do they always do that? That's not a feeling. They're telling me what they're thinking because the mind cannot help it. Remember, the mind thinks in polarities. The mind thinks in right and wrong, good and bad. Our mind wants to put things in a box. So in cognitive therapy, it's about learning how to observe the mind so that you can change your thinking. In yogic tradition, in yogic philosophy of meditation, we don't meditate to silence the mind. That's impossible. If we silence the mind, we would all be dead. Because the brain the brain's making me talk right now. The brain's helping me think about what I'm going to say next. If I was just in total stillness in my mind, I wouldn't be able to function right now. So the goal of meditation is to change the quality of your thoughts and to create more space between the thoughts. Almost like there's a word called rahau, which is active pause. So in meditation, it's to change how we look at life, those lenses, and to create an active pause between our thinking or between our conversations or between our feelings. And I have found that when I meditate, it does help to change my lens on how I view things. And in cognitive therapy, we spend a lot of time with our clients teaching them to be more aware of these are thoughts, they're not real. They're only real because you give them meaning. In psychology, we say you think it, how you interpret a situation is how it makes you feel. A situation cannot make you feel angry. A situation cannot make you feel sad. A situation cannot make you do anything. It's your interpretation of the situation that influences your behavior, your feelings. It's your interpretation, it's your lens. Functioning adult, wise, neutral self? Or is it my reactive teenager who's defensive, angry, or a victim, poor me? Or is it my wounded self that's just crushed and in pain? Those are parts of us. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not saying they're bad or good. They're just lenses like my glasses. When you go to the optometrist, is it B or is it A? Is it your wounded self or is it your reactive, adaptive self? Practicing yoga and meditation helps to make us more aware so that we can see our process of our mind. Wow. When we're doing yoga meditation, we can go, wow, I realize I get kind of reactive with people. And then my feelings get hurt. I wonder why I do that. Or, wow, it is true. I am kind of an angry person. People have said that to me, and I'm like, I don't know what they're talking about. I'm not angry. Who do they think they are? And now after practicing yoga and meditation, I'm able to look at myself. And the trick to it is holding ourselves in warm regard. That means loving ourselves, having compassion for ourselves. That's the heart center. Because it's through compassion that we can see our crises inside, the real and the imaginary ones. We all have pain in our childhood. I have pain in my childhood. I'm working on it all the time. So, how does science come into all of this? Well, we talked about the amygdala, right? We talked about the amygdala in our brain. It's the animal part of us. So our quote for science is bad news sells because the amygdala is always looking for something to fear. Ooh, let me say that again. Bad news sells because the amygdala is always looking for something to fear. So that was Peter Diamandis who said that. Remember I talked earlier about in psychology that we as humans grow the most through trauma and pain and suffering. You know, often in spirituality, people use the lotus as a symbol. It's because it's this beautiful flower that comes through the mud. And that's each of us. Like, we all have pain and suffering. Now, the yogis believe our souls have come down to this experience of human life to have a human experience, not a soul experience, to have a human experience, which is love and hate and suffering and passion and good food and starvation and all of that. The soul's going, wow. It's our lenses and our minds that are putting meanings to it. And it's through the experience in the yoga, which I often like to say, yoga is a meditation for your organs and glands. And meditation is a meditation for your mind. It's about bringing that awareness of being in the moment so that I can switch my lenses and I can switch into my higher caliber. It's not about being better or worse than other people. No, no, no. It's about my lens that I look at my life at. So in science has found in research that through yoga, we can lower the stress hormones in our body. It's scientifically proven. Science has also proven, there's a study done I don't remember which Scandinavian country. I think it was Sweden, but please don't quote me. It's in my book. There's a study that was done that they studied people who chant, who sing hymns, who speak gospel or talk in tongues. And they found that when you utter these words in chanting or hymns and prayer, you increase the white matter in the upper partial part of the brain. So we do a lot of chanting in Kundalini yoga and meditation. And science has found that when you chant, you actually increase the white matter. Why is that important? White matter helps us process the emotional part of our life. It allows us to be able to look at the crises and be less reactive. Studies have also found that meditation, silent and chanting, increases the gray matter and the GABA amino acid in our frontal lobe, which calms us. You know, when we come out of a meditation, we're all blissed out and we're feeling good and I just feel one with everything. That's your frontal lobe. That's the gray matter. That's the GABA. So science is catching up with yogic technology, which I always love when I get to read something new that the yogis have been saying, or that at least that I've been hearing for most of my life. I'm always like, yay, okay, good. Some science gets a point there. So let's see what else. Oh yes, one more thing before we go in we have a little journaling in a moment, and then we'll go in our experience. In stress and anxiety, we release hormones from our glands. Our glands secrete hormones, fight or flight. They work with the amygdala. And there's a study done from a doctor at Stanford, Dr. Poluit. He'll come back to me. His name just popped out of my head. Talked about how our ancestors, like the cavemen, when they would have stress and anxiety, like they were being chased by a saber-toothed tiger, they had to run and climb up a tree and get away, and all the adrenaline's pumping through their bodies. Once they were safe, guess what they all did? They all spent about 45 minutes or 30 minutes or an hour or two walking back to their campsite. And in that walking state, they're able to release the hormones that were pumped into their body in the stress state. We as human beings now don't do that. Here's a good example. We're driving in traffic to get to work or to catch an airplane, and there's tons of traffic, and we're freaking out like, oh my God, I'm going to miss my flight and I'm going to be late for work. And guess what's happening in our body? The same thing as being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Hormones are pumping. How can you tell? Your armpits sweat a little bit. Your mouth gets a little dry. Your stomach may feel a little knotty. You may even feel a little gurgling in your digestive. Your hands could feel clammy. Your feet could feel clammy. Those are reactions to the hormones being released. Now, guess what happens? You get out of your car, you run into your work, you sit down at your desk, you drink coffee probably, or maybe a kombucha, but you're sitting and all those hormones are in your body just sitting there. The best thing to do would be to get out and take a walk around the block for 20 minutes and just tell your boss, for me to be the most functioning, I need to just take a walk. Now, not everyone can do that, circumstances, I understand. But in yoga, we do that as well. How do we do that? We have the yoga kriya. We're doing exercise. We're putting our bodies under stress. We're stimulating the sympathetic nervous system. Like, oh, hold your arms up, and our body's like, what's happening? Our glands are going, wow, should we secrete hormones? Oh no. And then at the end of the yoga, what do? We do relaxation. So we're laying down. It's not walking, but after that, we connect to our breath. And I've noticed there's a circulation of energy in the body. Have you noticed that? When after the yoga, you can feel a movement of energy? So it is that movement. It's a different scenario because we're creating it, but then there's the movement. And then, of course, there's the meditation, which then we work on the mind. So I invite you, as we move into this, to think about those things. So please get your pen and paper out, or your writing utensil, computer or whatnot. So here's the questions I'd like you to ask yourself before we get, where is it? Sorry. Okay. What is your biggest stress trigger in your life? First question. And you could just think this if you don't want to write it down. We're going to go straight into a little mini kriya and then relaxation and meditation. First question. What is your biggest stress trigger? Don't think of all the little ones. What is your biggest stress? I don't have enough money. My food, I'm having issues with my food and my body, or my relationship really is my biggest stressor. What's your biggest stressor of stress? Because we're going to do anxiety next. So stress, remember, stress is something that when it happens, the feeling goes away. Anxiety is when something happens, you're still feeling anxious. So what are your biggest trigger for stress, and what is your biggest trigger for anxiety? Please jot it down. I'll give you about a minute. Your next question, which is your last question, which should take you a few more minutes, which is, what thoughts get you hooked in your mind when you have the stress and anxiety? So what thoughts get you hooked and trigger your mind? Like, this always happens to me. Why is this happening to me again? My dad did this. My mom, why? Like, what's the hook? I'm not good enough. I'm too much. People can't handle me. This is always happening. So what's your hook? So please write that down. I'll give you about 2 minutes. What gets your mind spinning? Remember, our mind's trying to make sense of it all. It's its job. I see people are still writing. I'll give you another minute. Think of it as a bird's eye view rather than an ant's eye view. You don't need to get too deep into it. I forgot to say one more very important thing. Creativity. Have you noticed that in Kundalini yoga, we do a lot of stuff with the navel? I've noticed that. So there's two things. In psychology, I have found in my therapy practice that those who are most creative are able to get the most unstuck. If we have very narrow thinking, it's hard to see outside the box. When we have a crisis or have anxiety, which is perpetual, happens a lot, we often feel stuck in a box. Sometimes it has no windows, sometimes it has no doors, it doesn't even have maybe has a roof, it doesn't have a roof, who knows? Each of us are different and unique. Creativity helps us to look outside of our problem. If we don't have creativity, we are like those horses that you see in New York City, or maybe they have in other parts of the world where they have these blinders on. They put those on the horses so the horses don't see the cars and get freaked out. But it also keeps the horse stuck. They only can look forward. A lack of creativity in our own self keeps us stuck in our thinking. When we work the navel in yoga and meditation, we're able to tap into our own creativity, because it's not just the navel, it's the sexual organs, it's the second chakra, but that creativity is super, super important because it helps us get unstuck. And creativity with awareness, the combination of the two, that is what transformation is. Creativity and awareness connected is what transforms your awareness of your thinking of your life, your relationships, and all of that. We need the two. So breath of fire builds creativity. It does a lot of other things too, but that's one of the things. So before we get going, please put your paper and pen down. Let's do 3 Adhgare Name so we can just get ready for yoga and meditation. Get comfortable. We will be doing a 9-minute kriya, and 3HO will put everything that the yoga and the meditation and the music in the chat at the end, so you'll have the resource for you to get that kriya and do it if you like again. So please sit comfortably, give your neck a little bit of a wiggle, move in some nice big circles. Remember your breath, move your shoulders. Maybe let's reach up and reach to the skies and stretch the spine. Stretch, stretch, wiggle, 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 and down, and bring your hands together and come into prayer pose. Eyes are closed. Inhale to begin. Adhgare Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siddhiguru Deve Name, Adhgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siddhiguru Deve Name, Adhgure Name, Jugadgure Name, Satgure Name, Siddhiguru Deve Name. Satnam. So we are going to go straight into our kriya. If you were teaching this in a yoga class, you could do about 7 to 10 minutes of warm-up exercises. But for time today, we are going to move right into our kriya. So this kriya is called the base of your creative capacity for life. The base of your creative capacity for life. So remember, I talked about the creativity mixed with awareness shifts transformation. So the first exercise, please bring your thumb touching to your pinky, and you're going to bring your hands next to your shoulders facing forward, and you're going to be twisting inward towards your ears, doing breath of fire with your eyes closed. So please begin. Eyes are closed, 3 minutes. Eyes are closed. Breath of fire, nice steady rhythm. If you are on your cycle or pregnant, please do long, deep breathing. Move your hands back and forth. If you have carpal tunnel issues, you will go at a pace that works for you. Be with your breath. I'll put a little music on to entertain our mind. Keep going. Just a little bit so you can still hear me. Dance your navel, get into your breath of fire. Move your wrists. The pinky is communication, the thumb is the ego. How do you communicate to yourself? How do you communicate to others? How does that show up in stress and anxiousness? One minute and 10 seconds. Keep going. Remember, the yoga is the meditation for your glands. The yoga is the meditation for your organs. Yoga is for the body, circulation. Breath of fire, go, go, go. Notice what thoughts and minds come up as you're practicing the yoga. Remember, that's your mind trying to make sense of how you're feeling. It's just doing its job. Witness it. 15 seconds. Keep going, last 5 seconds. Inhale deep, hold your breath and keep moving your wrists quickly. Hold your breath, quickly move. Cannon breath out. Inhale deep. Hold your breath and move your wrist quickly, quickly, quickly. Squeeze, squeeze every muscle in your whole body. Squeeze your thighs, your tongue, your knees, your elbow, your hair, your skin. Squeeze, move your wrist, move your wrist. Powerfully exhale. Remember, this is working on our glands. Inhale deep. Last time, hold your breath. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Squeeze every muscle. Move as quick as you can. Get your body to switch the shift within your neurological pathway. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Powerfully exhale. Relax your hands down. Sit quietly. Hands can be on your thighs or your lap. Eyes are closed or half masked. Be with yourself. Learn. This is at a house state. Active pause. Notice how your breath regulates itself. Notice what happens to your body. Don't get caught into the story of the mind and the lenses. Notice the self. Notice the self. This is what an active pause can be like between a yoga in the kriya, between our thoughts, between events, when we pause and we witness the experience that just happened through a neutral lens. Do your best. Be with the self. Be with yourself. Notice what the mind does. Don't get caught up in the story or the analysis, trying to analyze it. Be with the self. Come back to the flow of your breath. There is no right. There is no wrong when it comes to our feelings. When we give it meaning, it hooks us. Just observe it. Observe the mind. Observe the self. This is a part of me that's feeling this way. This is a part of me that's having this experience. Inhale. Exhale. And relax your breath and posture and prepare for the next exercise. This time you're going to bring your thumbs to the inside of your fists as you close the fingers around your thumb. You will bend your elbows in front of you at the level of your shoulders. The inhale, your fists will be facing each other, not touching the chest, just right in front of the chest. This will be the inhale. The exhale, the fists pump out. So before you get started, this is a nice steady rhythm that you're going to be able to maintain. So if you go really, really fast, you'll end up slowing down halfway through. This is part of the trick also of how yoga can help our life. If you can maintain in yoga, then you learn to maintain your life. This also stimulates the vagus nerve, which helps to lower inflammation in our body and lower depression. Eyes are closed. Please begin. Inhale on the inside, exhale, shoot out. Keep going. Nice, steady rhythm you can maintain. Be in the experience. Be with your breath. Halfway through. One more minute. Go, go, go. Be in the experience. Move the energy in your body. Move the energy through your mind. Last 30 seconds. This exercise works on the lungs, which hold grief. It stimulates the vagus nerve, which is connected to every organ in our body except for the adrenals. When we stimulate the vagus nerve, we can lower inflammation in our bodies. This was scientifically proven. Inflammation creates a lot of depression in us. Inhale deep and bring the hands in. Hold your breath and squeeze every muscle in your body. Your face should get all contorted. Your lips, your thighs, your toes, your elbows. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hold the posture and cannon breath. Inhale deep. Nice big breath. Hold your breath and squeeze and tighten, tighten, tighten. We do this because it works our glands. We secrete. It helps the neurological pathways in our brain. Squeeze, squeeze, tight, 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 tight. Cannon breath out. Last time, inhale deep. Hold your breath and squeeze and tighten every muscle. Get your toes, your thighs, your knees, your tongue, your teeth, your ears, your skin, your hair, your elbows, your eyeballs. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Powerfully exhale. Relax your body and go into that rahau, active pause. Be still. Notice how you're coming back to the self. Notice that your breath is relaxing. You're teaching yourself to go into that parasympathetic nervous state, letting go, being in the moment. Let the mind flow. Don't attach to anything. Learn to witness the self and be more aware. This is why we practice Kundalini yoga and meditation. Because if you can do it right now, you can do it in your relationship. You can do it at work. You can do it with your children. You're learning a tool. Be with yourself. Be within yourself. Notice how you relax naturally. Notice what happens in the mind. Notice what happens with your breath. Inhale. Exhale. We have our last exercise. If you need to stretch out your legs while I explain it, please do so. And then we'll have relaxation after this exercise. So the last exercise, you're going to bring your arms, excuse me, you can't see them. You're going to bring your arms above your head with your palms facing each other without touching. So you want to have some space in between. You're going to be above your head. You'll be doing breath of fire, but you'll be moving slowly in a tick-tock version. So you will be doing it at a slow pace for the first 2 minutes and at a faster pace for the last minute. Kundalini yoga has a lot of fast breathing and slow motion, or fast motion and slow breathing. And this works to help our nervous system, but it also is really important for the mind because it's training us to be in that neutral self, the functioning adult, the wise self in the crises of the situation. It's just a tool. That's it. Simple. So come into this. Eyes are closed. Palms are just a few inches apart. Don't touch them. Remember, there's energy between our hands. Bring your arms above your head. Hands facing each other. Eyes are closed. Begin breath of fire and move back and forth slowly for the first 2 minutes, back and forth, and then we will go faster for the last minute. Breath of fire, breath of fire. But do a rhythm that you can maintain. That's what all life is about. Am I living my life in a rhythm I can maintain? All arm exercises work on the magnetic field, which is about that self-worth I talked about, holding yourself in warm regard, loving yourself. The aura helps to contain that. One more minute, slow. We're learning to observe ourselves under different experiences. That is what self-awareness is. If you can do it in the yoga, you can do it in your life. Last minute, keep breath of fire and go a little faster. Tick-tock back and forth a little faster, 1 full minute. Keep going, 30 seconds, a little faster. Last 15 seconds. Now inhale deep and lean to the left. Hold your breath and squeeze your whole body. Squeeze, hold your breath, lean to the left. Holding your breath and squeezing. Now lean right. Keep holding and squeezing. Lean right. Hold, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Come to the center, cannon breath. We're going to do the sequence again. Inhale deep. Hold your breath, squeeze every muscle and lean left. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Hold it, squeeze your stomach, your thighs, your lips, your chin, your hands. Squeeze, squeeze your eyes. Lean to the right. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Center cannon breath. One more time. Inhale deep. Hold your breath. Let's get the body working. Squeeze every muscle and lean to the left. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Pull in the navel. Squeeze your toes, your thighs, your shins, your hips, your hands. Turn to the right. Squeeze, 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 squeeze to the center cannon breath. Lower your arms down through your magnetic field. Relax your breath out. Bring your hands down, close your eyes if they're open, and be in that state of relaxation. We're going to lay down in just a minute. Just sit for a moment. Pause. Be in an active pause. Don't just check out and analyze. Be present. Be with yourself. Notice the experience and be within it. I am relaxing my breath. I am feeling present because I feel myself sitting here on this floor or this mat. Be with the self. Notice how the breathing naturally relaxes when we let go of the pressure. Be with the self. Slowly come laying down onto your back. For relaxation, if you're sitting in a chair and prefer to stay in a chair, just maybe grab a nice blanket and get cozy. Excuse me. Come laying down. Relaxation is that active pause. We're not just falling asleep. You're just letting the energy circulate through the body. Your breath will relax itself. Slowly come back to this time and space. First, become aware of the flow of breath as it moves through your body. Slowly begin to move your fingers and your toes. Circle your hands and your wrists, your feet. Slowly raise your arms above your head. Stretching your spine. Pointing and flexing your toes. And bring your hands back down towards your body. Gently bending your legs, placing your feet flat on the ground. Move your knees from side to side. And bring your knees into your chest. Place your hands on your knees and stretch your lower back the opposite way. And rub the palms of your hands and the balls of your feet together. And rock on your back 3 or 4 times to come sitting up for meditation. So if you want a little cushion for your spine or a blanket, please grab that now. We're going to do our meditation. We will be doing the meditation called Meditation to Remove Conflict. In this meditation, the reason I picked this is because often we have internal conflict. We think one thing, but we behave another way. Or we say this is important to us, but we do something else. Or we don't speak up what's important to us because we're afraid of rejection. Or we beat ourselves up because we don't like something about ourselves. So there's a conflict within us, and that conflict can get in the way of us actually moving forward. So the way we do this meditation, you're going to interlace your fingers into Venus lock, which actually connects the negative and positive frequencies and balances that in our brain. So we're Venus lock, and you're going to bring your hands at the heart center. A little video here. So you're going to bring your Venus lock at the heart center. Your elbows are relaxed next to your body. Your eyes will be closed. You can bring your focus to your brow point, your third eye. We will be chanting together. Hummy hum brum hum, like this. Hummy hum brum hum. Hummy hum brum hum. In that monotone, continuous manner. Excuse me. I will have music playing and you can chant along. It's my voice. Hummy hum brum hum means we are one. Or we are we and we are God. We are part of everything. We're connected. And I often give this chant to clients who have a hard time trusting the process of life. We feel like things aren't going to work out. Excuse me. We feel like things aren't going to work out. We don't trust. I got a frog in my throat. Excuse me. And so hummy hum brum hum helps to connect us to that energy force and that frequency of feeling connected with everyone. If we did not have our mother or father around us as little children, and we were left alone, or we feel abandoned, and we often feel like we don't have anybody. And sometimes we can feel lonely even when we're with somebody. So hummy hum bram hum helps to connect that feeling of feeling connected and not alone. And I have found this has helped many clients. You just repeat it in your day whenever you feel that lonely feeling. Hummy hum brum hum hummy hum brum, out loud or silent. But today we're going to do it with the meditation. So please come sitting comfortably, however you like, in a chair or cross-legged on the ground. Bring your hands into Venus lock at the heart center. Eyes are closed, focused at the brow point. The chanting will start in about 30 seconds. Breathe when you need to.
Conflict.
Oops. Here we go. Chant from the heart center. Open your heart when you're chanting. Start chanting. Feel the vibration on your lips. That stimulates the vagus nerve. Chant out loud. Hear your voice. Get the white matter released in your brain.
Hamiham Brahmam 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 Hamiham Brahmam
Inhale deeply, hold your breath and posture. Holding your posture, exhale. Inhale deeply, hold your breath and posture. Hold your posture and exhale. Last time, inhale deeply. Hold your breath. Exhale, relax your breath and posture. Keep your eyes closed and sit quietly for a moment. And be in that state of being with the self. Feel yourself in your body. Be with your breath. Notice how your breath naturally relaxes as you let go. Inhale. Exhale. You can choose to think these questions, or you can pick up your journal and write down your answers, whichever works for you. And I'd like you to take a moment and reflect what spoke to you the most in the Kriya and the meditation that can be a tool to use in your life. If it's a way you thought, or if it was an experience you had, or it was a way to use the technology in your everyday life, what spoke to you? What will be your takeaway that when you are speaking with family or friends, maybe this tomorrow morning or this evening, you'll say, oh, you know, I learned this about myself, or I learned to use this technology in this way. Maybe it's something you've heard many times before, but it just clicked today. Somehow it clicked. It made more sense. Remember, not just for the yoga class, this is just one experience that we are in together. How and what will you bring into your everyday life, in your awareness, in your thinking, your lens? So before we finish, we are going to turn on the chat. If you'd like to tell us where you're coming from, we will close in a few moments. But if you have any questions, if you want to raise your hand, I'm happy to answer any questions. Or if you'd like to share, or at least say where you're coming from. I'd love to see. Argentina. Mexico, Canada, Boston, DC, Chile. I have a lot of people listening to Sudarshan Chakra music in Chile. New York, France, bonjour, London, Sweden, Paris. One of my aunties live in Paris, Guru Hanskar. The Punjab. That was me in the Punjab in 1978 with my mama. California, Boulder. Deutsche. Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Chicago. Yes, so I have some hands raised. So Amrit Kaur, go ahead and unmute yourself. Yes. Oh, I can't hear you. You're unmuted, but no, try now. No, I can't. Maybe our IT person, maybe Adi Sampuran, can you help her?
She's unmuted, so it should be, and she has the ability to unmute. So yeah. I don't know.
Amrit, I'm going to come back to you and just see if you can maybe do a volume, and we'll go with Aman G1.
Hi, Madhur-Nain. I'm one of the people in Chile who uses your Sudarshan Chakra.
Oh, lovely!
It's on my favorite. It's my top favorite for 2020.
I just heard from Spotify. I got over 100,000 streams. I'm like, oh my goodness! And it's mostly Argentina and Russia.
Interesting. Well, I'm one of the people in Chile. So really, yeah, thank you. Really loved your class. You know, one of the things I loved about the Kriya was the TikTok and really feeling my aura and how good it feels to be inside my aura. And I know that, you know, when we're physically with other people, we can positively impact others with our aura. And so virtual. And I know in classes that people are saying that we impact others, but really I'd like to, and you shared a lot of the psychology side as well. So I just love to hear your viewpoint on how we do impact others through our aura virtually and how we could really empower that more.
So any Kriya that has arm exercises will strengthen the aura. So the yogis believe that the aura can be up to 9 feet wide, but it's not always going to be lustrous and vibrant. And the best way I explain it is, I don't know about you, but I've sat in a coffee shop before and I'm on my computer or reading a book and the door opens and closes and opens and closes. And I don't look up. I'm just in my world, and all of a sudden the door opens and closes, and I look up and I look at a person, and I believe it has to do with their magnetic field. It attracts us. So doing ego eradicator can help strengthen the magnetic field. That's a great one. You could practice that every day for 1 to 3 minutes. Go for 1,000 days. Here's a trick if you ever feel like you just kind of have other people's energy stuck in your aura, which can drag the energy down. You would sit on your heels or you would sit in a chair. You bring your hands in Venus log and you inhale up and down. This exercise helps to clean out the aura. So I don't know remember the movie Ghostbusters when the ghost comes through you and they're covered in slime? So that happens with our energy. You can be at a clerk buying food and they don't say anything, but their energy is just like heavy and like tar. And you're just like, oh, I just got to get the energy off, or they're really depressed. Sometimes personality disorders, we can leave feeling kind of like, ugh. So we got to clean out the aura.
And what do you think about the virtual aspect? Like, how do we really impact others virtually, as we do, as you mentioned, when somebody walks into a coffee shop?
Yeah, well, there's 60 something people here. So we had 70 at one point, and I could feel the connection. My world, faded as I was in this virtual world with all of you. So I definitely think so. It not just in the yogic technology, but quantum physics and science talks about the universal consciousness and that we're all connected. And some of the stuff I've read in science and quantum physics is stuff that I've been hearing, 30, 40 years ago. And so times are changing, and it's the power of the mind. We don't even have the full capacity of what our brains and minds can do. So.
Well, thank you. Thank you for your class. I'm a teacher and I've been doing Kundalini yoga for 9 years, and I learned a lot from your class today. A lot of notes. So.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you.
Something new to learn.
Thank you.
Satnam.
Okay, so let's go. Amrit, let's give it a try, and I'll see if there's any questions in the. Yes, I can't hear you. I'm so sad. I want to hear you. Do you have an earplug in your computer? Someone maybe says, turn the computer, unplug it. Are you on an iPad? Oh, do you want to write it in the chat? Okay, thank you, Amrit. Any other questions or sharing? Let's see. Someone asked, do you have a book with Kriyas and anxiety? I don't, but I wrote a book called The Stressless Brain, and it comes with 37 meditations for stress and anxiety and psychology. And it's full of science and research to back up all this technology that we practice. So you're welcome to order it. Any orders in May, you'll get a free album. I created a world religions meditation chants with 12 youth singing choir chants of Hindu, Muslim, Sikh, Jewish, Christian, and agnostic for those who don't believe in a religion. So it's a beautiful album. It comes free with anyone who orders this month to give back to all of you. Any other questions? Oh, with the how many minutes to do cleaning your aura? I always like the number 3 minutes. You can start with 1 minute. I have literally done it right after I've engaged with someone whose energy I felt, and it just works in a few minutes.
I have the message from Amrit Kaur.
Okay.
She just wanted to say that she doesn't normally have a problem with her sound. She wanted to thank you. This class was a revelation as it put together the psychological realm with the Kundalini yoga and transferring it back to everyday life. Exclamation point.
Thank you. That's what I like to do because we live in the normal world, right? And we got to bring the experience, we got to move them together. It's about tools. It's about, working how to keep up. Let's see, anything else? There's a clinical psychologist. Wonderful. Holland. Who had it? I was born in Amsterdam. Atlanta, Canada, Pennsylvania. Well, thank you so much. There will be 2 other amazing teachers later today. So please come back and join these wonderful women who also do great work. And thank you to 3HO for putting this on. This was so much fun. All my information's in the chat, and you can find me on my website, which is Madhur-Nain.com. And I do free shipping anywhere in the US. And if you're out of the country, I will work out a special deal. So just email me and I'd love to get the book to you if you're interested. So let's finish. Let's see. Oh yeah, the stressless brain. It's at the beginning. Let's see.
So there's some comments about the link not working, but I think it's just because it's been put into the chat.
Okay.
I'll double check.
Here, I'm going to put in my email. People can email me directly and I will send them I will send you the links to the music that I used. The music during relaxation was the 4-stroke breath for intuition. So I make these cards for my clients so that it's easy for them to do the meditations at home. Makes it user-friendly. The drawing is by Guru Amrit in Norway. I heard someone.
Hello.
Yes?
This is Jagmeet Singh from India. I just don't attend your whole lecture. Can I get the recording of this class?
The recording will be on 3ho.org and it will be there indefinitely. So you can go back and watch it many times.
Okay, thank you very much. It's my first class and I feel very good. It's amazing class.
Oh, thank you. Okay, so let's close up. So most people sing the May the Long Time. I'm a little bit of a rebel. If I know Pritpal knows that. I'm a little bit of a rebel. So we are going to say it as a prayer. That's how I like to end the class. We say May the Long Time as a prayer with one long sat nam. So we'll go ahead and let's see. Mute. Okay. So please bring your hands together. Eyes are closed. Relaxed breath, inhale. Exhale. Inhale to begin. May the long time sun shine upon you. All love surrounds you, and the pure light within you guide your way on. Inhale for Sat Nam. Sat Nam. May the breath of your life be the gift of your awareness as you learn to connect to the self. Sat Nam. Thank you so much. I will stay on for a few minutes if anyone wants to ask any questions or to look at chat. Have a lovely day or evening or lunch or breakfast or sleep, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so inspiring and informative. And thank you everyone for joining us today. And I just want to mention that we're going to have a short break and come back at 12 o'clock Mountain is the next class with Dr. Julie Staples. She'll be doing Kundalini yoga for trauma. And just to mention that it's a donation-based event, I put a link to donate in the chat, which is also on the registration page. And a gift of any size will help us to create more content like this and other inspiring offerings like this mental health summit. So thanks for joining in this great event. And thank you. It's so amazing. Satnam.
Thank you, everyone.
I got one last question,
Yes.
which may have been answered in the text already, but to get your book, Stressless Brain?
Yeah.
How do we do that?
You can just go to my website, Madhur-Nain.com, and you can order it on there. It's on Amazon, everywhere else, but it's cheaper on my website.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great day.
You too.
May I ask a question?
Yes, yes, please.
Where can I find out to read more about the relationship between the lenses and the positive, negative, and neutral mind? It's fascinating. I'd really like to explore that further.
That is my own work. There's nothing of it out there right now. I'm writing my second book right now, and so I'm working on incorporating some of that in there. But you can start by looking at Terry Real's work, the New Rules of Marriage. It's about relationships, but he talks about lenses. But this is my own, I've been doing therapy for over 20 years. So this is my own work, but, and then you can the 3 minds is just in Kundalini level 1 and level, But I the 3 lenses is what I do because, depending on we get that whoosh feeling of a trigger. If we're afraid or angry or nervous, that feeling, you got to work on noticing, I'm feeling different than my awareness. And then you got to be, okay, what lens am I looking through? And you can start with whoosh, I'm feeling different. How old do I feel? I feel 7, I feel 14. And then write it down. And then what was happening in my life when I was 7? What's that? Is it fear? Is it anger? Is it confusion? And so you can start working with it. But then remember, the negative mind is all about protection. The positive mind is all about perception, like looking at the positive of everything. And so depending on that adaptive lens, which is usually a teenage part, the adaptive lens is our reactive part. Like if you're a people pleaser or you're grumpy a lot or you don't trust or any of those reactive that are not healthy traits, they may protect us. They keep people away, so they protect us. Or even if we hurt ourselves before you can hurt me, that's an adaptive part. So Terry Real, that's his work, but then I bring in the lenses of, we look at life through those experiences, and that changes every situation we're in if we're in a lens.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Wow. Yes?
Yes, ma'am. I have a question
Yes?
that I feel difficulty in concentrating while I was studying because when I was studying, my thoughts are continuously flowing in my mind. Like I was sitting in the book, having a
Yeah.
book in my hands, but my mind is going somewhere else. Then how can I improve my concentration so that I can concentrate on the present?
Yeah. So that's normal that the mind is going to be active. It's just what happens. And so over time of meditation, it helps the mind to slow down. People who have very active minds, you want to do meditations that have more parts to it, that are more like you're doing a hand movement, an eye focus, a breath, because the more of a job you give your mind, the more it can start to relax. If it's too simple, the mind can complicate things. We overthink. So I would do a meditation that has a hand movement and chanting and an eye focus so that you give your mind more things to focus on, and it will start to, over time, start to relax. Does that make sense?
Okay, I got it. But can you show me how can I do?
Yeah, so you could do, let me think, you could do Gunpati, which is, so it's your hand, so it's, you got to focus on the tip of the nose, and you're chanting Satanamarama sa sa se so hung. So and then you all on one breath. And so you would inhale deeply, and you would focus on the tip of the nose, and you're moving your fingers. They're resting in your lap, but I'm just showing you. And you're moving through. It's on, if you just, I'll put it in chat. If you go to 3ho.org or even just Google Gunpati meditation, and that's a good one. And that's a good one for trauma. And that's a good one for PTSD. And if you're feeling stuck. Is that helpful?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Okay. Satnam. Helen, 2 questions. Wonder why some people come out of meditation quickly and are talking, and I have a difficult time leaving that space. I really want to stay there. Is there a difference in the 2 brains? Okay, I'll answer that first. So that's normal. There are some people, because, ideally, Helen, we would have sat for probably another 5 minutes in silence, but I was running out of time. So it is good to sit in that silence, because that's where we're working on being in stillness. So there's 2 things. One is, in the stillness, some people can really drop deep. And if you find that you have a hard time connecting with people in your life, you would want to work on being more grounded outside of the stillness. So downward dog is good for grounding. Frog pose is good for grounding. Body drops is good for shaking us up, even if you do a little bit. If you find that you have a hard time being still, then that's because when we relax, we get that relaxation-induced anxiety, which is triggering for some people. So some people sometimes need to talk right after because they need to process what they're feeling, or they need to move the energy. Everyone's different. Okay, second question. The last meditation, I wanted to hum longer at the end, and I love the vibration deep in the sense of, should I stay with what? Yes, so it's fine. You can do that meditation without the music, and that stimulates the vagus nerve, and the vagus nerve connects to every organ in your body except for the adrenals. So the vagus nerve helps to lower inflammation in our body. So it's okay to do that. I do encourage people to practice meditations with no music to really connect to their own voice. So yes. Wonderful. Okay, any last things? Then we'll say goodbye. I hear someone unmuted. Oh, Amrit. I still can't hear you. I don't know why. Oh, I want to hear you. I don't know why. I'm so sorry. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening, day, morning, night.